begin asymptomatic testing.
Several student organizations at FGCU
and we're going to play Guess the Song.
Hello, welcome to Hanging with the Executives here at the Bauer School of Music.
And you're watching ENTV.
Hi guys, and welcome back to another week of Hard Hitters. I'm your host, Sarah Mankowitz, and I'm joined with
Asselin
and Tyler Watkins.
And we're already in week 7 of the NFL. Oh my gosh. But without further ado, our recaps from this past week. I mean, we had, unfortunately, the Patriots lose to the Cowboys 29-35. I really thought we had it there. And we were winning 29-26 in there. And so we really had it, and then the Cowboys had a 4th down, and so I really didn't think they were going to have enough momentum to get them into that down and to get a win from it. But then they got their 3-point field goal, of course, and they ended up tying it going into overtime. And then, of course, won the game. But what do you guys think about this game?
Yeah, I know you probably weren't very happy that Tyler and I picked the Cowboys, but
so
we got the pick right this week.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it was a crazy game. You know, the Cowboys, they were down most of the game, and Trayvon Diggs got his 7th interception of the season to get the pick 6, 42-yard return, and just 16 seconds later, Mac Jones threw a 75-yard touchdown.
That was amazing.
Yeah, and the guy who blew the covers on that play, none other than Trayvon Diggs.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, like, it was an absolute thriller toward the end of it, the 4th quarter, you know. I thought the game was over with the pick 6, you know, but then out of nowhere, McDaniels decides to open up the playbook and boom, a 75-yard touchdown on the same person who got pick 6. So, I mean, you can't write anything better than that. Like, you can't make it up.
Definitely. And then,
but definitely a big day for Dak, you know, another 400-yard plus game. CeeDee Lamb really stepped up for the team, and, you know, Amari Cooper was in there in the mix too, and you gotta love what you're seeing from the Cowboys.
yeah, I will say it's interesting to watch though too is Dak Prescott. He had a mild calf injury after that last throw that he threw to CeeDee Lamb, and he was in a walking boot after the game. So it'll be interesting to see how he recovers from that if it's serious.
Definitely. But I mean, we've seen improvements with Mac Jones, too. I mean, he looked like okay in the beginning of the season or whatever, but ever since that Buccaneers game, he's really kind of stepped up to the plate a little bit there.
Yeah, he's definitely shown some flashes that you like to see out of a rookie quarterback. Of course, you know, with a rookie, you still got those questionable moves and, you know, all that. And some plays may have been on the receivers, you know, that interception, that pick 6 might have been a little too high, but still the receiver you could argue that he could have made that catch. But, you know, but way to bounce back. I like the maturity I've seen out of Mac Jones.
Yeah, definitely. And then moving on, we've got Monday Night Football. We've got the Bills versus the Titans game. I'm pretty sure we all expected the Bills to win this.
Yeah.
It was not going to be like a close game. But the Bills ended up losing to the Titans 31-34. And I mean, they just kind of looked uneven throughout the entire game. I mean, in the first half, I mean, they were trailing for quite a bit of time there. I think it was like 14-17 there.
Yeah.
But I mean, they didn't really have the lead much of this game, and so the great Bills, who've had multiple blowout games this season, just didn't have it this week. What do you guys think happened to the Bills?
Yeah.
Derrick Henry happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Derrick Henry happened. With 20 attempts rushing and then 143 yards on the ground and 3 touchdowns. I mean, he can't. You gotta give him an MVP or something eventually. Like, you know, I mean, he was just a monster on the field. He's run over plus 120 yards for the past 3 weeks in a row now. He had 3 touchdowns last week, 3 this week, so he is just on a tear.
Yeah, Derrick Henry, I mean, he can't be stopped, especially against the Bills. I mean, he has put up huge performances every single time he's played the Bills. And it was the 4th and 1 call. I mean, you got to make that call as the Bills head coach. You got to put the trust in your players, and he did that for them to go out there, get that 4th and 1, and not settle for the field goal to go to overtime. It just wasn't enough. Josh Allen just couldn't power through that defensive line of the Titans, and having A.J. Brown and Julio Jones back in the mix for Ryan Tannehill really, I think, made the difference that had the Bills defense having to worry about them more than Derrick Henry.
I mean, it shows how good the Titans defense is to go up against a great quarterback such as Josh Allen. It really shows some stuff there. But moving on, we've got this upcoming week. We've got week 7, starting off with the Browns versus the Broncos. What do you guys think about this game, Tyler?
I mean, even with the questions about Baker Mayfield and his health, I still got the Browns taking this one. The Broncos were frauds. I knew they were frauds. They started off 3-0. I mean,
Yeah.
you beat, what was it, combined record of 0-9 against the teams that they beat.
Yeah.
And then after that, you know, they just plummeted. So
I mean, they played very easy teams in the beginning
Yeah.
of the season. not too much of a shock to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I also have the Browns on this one.
I got the Browns too. You know, even with Baker Mayfield's injury, as you mentioned, if Case Keenum ends up playing this week, I don't think it's going to make a difference.
Yeah. Moving on, we've got the Titans, which we just talked about. They're going up against the Chiefs this week, and so I've got the Titans. I think they looked amazing, as we talked about, against Josh Allen and the Bills, and so I think that defense is really going to measure up because the Chiefs' defense just doesn't look as good as it does. Their offense is still pretty good, but their defense, I don't think, has what it takes to go up against the Titans' defense.
I am like 0-2 going for the Chiefs this season, so I am going with the Titans coming off that big win against Buffalo.
Finally
Yeah.
gave up.
Yeah, I finally gave up.
Like you mentioned, the Chiefs defense, if the Bills couldn't even stop the Titans from putting up 34 points, it's going to be rough for the Chiefs this week.
Yeah. But then moving on to your Washington versus Packers. Would you like to carry
Yeah,
elaborate on your
Packers.
bias?
I got the Packers this week. Again, no bias, but I got the Packers this week. I took the Washington football team last week against the Chiefs. It didn't go too well for me, but they're playing in Lambeau Field. Packers are going to be wearing their amazing new throwback jerseys. They're going to look awesome on the field. Hopefully, playing awesome on the field too. But yeah, Packers this week.
Yeah, coming off that moxie kind of win for Aaron Rodgers. Sorry to cut you off, but you know he still owns the Bears, so you know, yeah, I'm going with the Packers in this week.
Definitely. Okay, I'll agree with your bias this week.
Yeah, I got the Ravens here. You know, they put an end to Justin Herbert's run this past week, allowing only 6 points after they put up 47 the previous week against the Browns. That offense and Lamar Jackson kept rolling, and if their defense can play like that, it's going to be tough for anyone to beat them.
Yeah, I got the Ravens as well. I mean, the Bengals have been good. They come off of that big win against the Lions last week. But, you know, I had a feeling about the Ravens last week that they were going to kind of dominate. And they didn't need much from Lamar last week. He only threw for like 197 yards, only 1 touchdown and 2 interceptions. But, I mean, still a dominant win somehow against the Chargers. So I got them coming in this week.
Definitely. I mean, it's their defense and stuff, too, that plays into it. I mean, they have a good team all around, so it doesn't just depend on that one star player. So we got it. But moving on, we got the Panthers versus the Giants. I gotta say the Panthers on this one. Anyone care to disagree?
You know, 2 weeks ago, this would have been a for sure Panthers win for me, but they have definitely fallen off, kind of. You know, they lost a heartbreaker against the Vikings last week. Kirk Cousins had a nice day on that one. Sam Darnold kind of bounced back toward the end. A lot of drop passes from the Panthers receiving corps last week, and also, I mean, he started with 5 for 18 at that point, so, I mean, reluctantly, I'm going for the Panthers.
Yeah, I got the Panthers too. You know, the Giants got demolished by the Rams this week.
It was the Rams.
Yeah, it was
I'll
the
give them
Rams, but the Giants don't look like a team that can compete this year, so I got the Panthers.
Yeah. And moving on, we don't have Ian here with his Dolphins bias, but they're playing the Falcons this week. Sorry, Ian, I'm taking the Falcons. The Dolphins, like we saw, got blown out by the Bills and stuff like that. It's just another blowout here for them. They have improved a little bit. I mean, Tua does look pretty good, but I wouldn't say Falcons.
Yeah, sorry, Ian. I'm going with the Falcons too. You know, they just lost against the winless Jags in a pretty close game, but for it to end the way it did.
Yeah, and it was the Jags' only win this season.
Yeah.
So.
Sorry, not sorry. I'm going for the Falcons.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Ian. Not really, but I mean that loss against the Jags really said all I needed to see from the Dolphins. So I really have no hope for them even with Tua. Sorry
Yeah.
about that.
Moving on to the best game of the week, though, we've got the Jets versus the Patriots. And so last week you guys didn't take the Patriots, but this week I'm taking the Patriots, and I dare you guys to disagree with me.
I'm not going to take up that there.
Thank you. Because, I mean, we've seen how the Patriots played the Jets last time, and I mean, it's the Jets.
It's the Jets.
They're
coming off a bye, though, but...
Do you really think that's what they need?
I didn't take the losses, so I don't know.
Yeah, so moving on, we've got the Eagles versus the Raiders. I've got the Raiders this week. Agree, disagree?
Yeah.
We've got the Bears versus the BUCS. I've got the BUCS on this. Again, need I say more? There's a lot of those games where it's need I say more, but usually you like to say more, so.
Yeah, you know, the Bears, Chicago Bears owner Aaron Rodgers put them in their place this past weekend, and I don't think that's going to be any different for Super Bowl champion, legend, Tom Brady. He's going to walk up in there. Well, I think it's in Tampa Bay this week. So Justin Fields is going to walk up into Tampa Bay, and he's going to get the same treatment that Aaron Rodgers gave him in the Chicago Bears last week.
Well, plus, isn't this Gronk's first week back after being punctured long? Or is he still questionable?
I think he might still be out this week. You know, I didn't take the Raiders this past week, but they're proving me wrong, even with the whole John Gruden situation, thinking their morale's not going to be that high within the team.
I got the Raiders this week. I mean, yeah, like you mentioned with the John Gruden situation, I thought they would have came out, but they really just came out and just flat out blitzed the Broncos and just beat them up. I mean, sure, the score said something different, but that was basically garbage time score. So, I mean, I got the Raiders.
We've got the Lions versus the Rams. I don't think this is going to be a very close game at all. I've got the Rams. We've seen how amazing offensively and defensively, like all together, honestly, they've just looked fantastic. And the Lions have not.
Yeah.
So need I say more?
Well, it's tough to pick the Rams. Well, not really tough, but it's tough to go against the Lions this week. You know.
But last but not least, we've got the Saints versus the Seahawks. I mean, we saw an amazing Seahawks game this past week. So I've got the Saints.
Yeah, like you said, as much as I hate to say it, I'm taking the Saints in this one. I mean, yeah, like, sure, if it was Russell Wilson, I wouldn't change my pick, but, you know, it's Geno Smith. It's game one. Let's just calm down, you know? Let's calm down. I mean, sure, he went 23 for 32 last week with over 200 yards and 1 touchdown, but of course, he had a fumble towards the end. But, I mean, it's the Saints. Like, you know, it's the Saints. I don't care if it's in Seattle or London.
Is it week 1 versus the Packers Saints? Is it that same Saints team, though?
You're right, because they have been kind of up and down, but I think they'll be up enough to beat the Seahawks. So
I agree. But thank you guys so much for watching, and please tune in next week for our next episode of Hard Hitters.